Everyone, welcome to Midweek Live. So glad that you're joining us today. I'm excited because this is actually our first non-staff member. Do you know that? This is the first member. Yeah. So this is kind of, we're diving into the realm that I've been trying to get us to, but of course we live in a COVID season, and so we're trying to be very mindful of stuff like that. But this is Katie Felten-Fauntleroy. I am so pumped because Katie actually was the brainchild behind our Enough clothing store, our Enough thrift store that's right here on our campus. And we're going to get into all of those details and all of that because we want you to know kind of what that is all about and where that kind of came from and how that works. And I'm learning, we were talking before we even started, and I'm learning a lot more about how that works and stuff. But what's interesting about Katie and me is that we have been corresponding through emails for, and I mean years, like we talked about this.
Yes.
I think I've been a staff member, so somewhere around 14, 15 years. Mm-hmm. You've been coming to church around that same time. And I led up at the time a ministry called Stage Door Catering, which was basically, and it's not right now, we're on a pause right now, but there was a ministry where we had people that would make food for our worship and our pastoral teams and our production teams on Sunday morning, and they would come and bring food for a good, 15, 20 people or so.
Plus Kevin.
Plus and whoever else knew the code to the door. Yeah. So she was on that team when I took it on. And so we had emailed back and forth many times. But truly, this is the first time we've ever met face to face and are sitting and having conversation, which is kind of a strange thing to say. But you can come to this church and really kind of miss out on people, which again brings me back to the importance of really wanting to do these midweek lives of meeting people, spending time with people that call Northpointe home, but then just also in our community. We're hoping to even go beyond our own community here at Northpointe. But Katie's a great step into the right direction, and so I'm so excited that you're here and that we get to talk.
On the launch, I'm so excited. When you were just telling that story, I actually remember in church when you started doing the morning bulletin.
Vibe thing,
And I'm like, oh, that's what she looks like. I'm like,
that's so unfair though. I hate those because it's like, so then everyone sees you, but you still don't get a chance to see the person.
I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, that's Kim Vass. Is it Vass? I don't even know.
It is Vass,
okay.
Yes, yeah, you're good.
Okay, so I was like, oh, that's the one I always get emails from. So I remember that was like a big day for me. I was so excited to know somebody.
You probably didn't know how short I was until.
I still don't think it, because I think it was just a picture.
Well, that's true. You probably wouldn't have any kind of indication. But so we just said it. You've been coming to Northpointe about 16 or so years. But you are kind of someone that didn't necessarily jump right in, serving and wanting to be a part, which is funny because I'm sitting across from you and you're so bubbly and you're so talkative and you're so inclusive, and that's kind of counter to how I'm getting to know you right now, that you would kind of be a little reserved. It's funny though, because I kind of feel the same way when I have gone and visited my friends at a church. I'm kind of uncomfortable, I kind of want to come a little late. I want to kind of slip into the back and kind of be unseen. And especially if it's a smaller church, I just want to kind of take it in, let me kind of just take all of this in. And then when I'm feeling a little more comfortable, I might want to have some conversations, or maybe my third, fourth, fifth time doing that.
Oh, it was a lot longer than that. It's not, it wasn't that I was uncomfortable. I was, now I'm recalling that time. I had just gotten married, and then I also had just had a baby. I had a significant loss in my life right then too. So I think that it was just where I was in my life. I don't think I was, I think that, it just was where I was. I wasn't really, it's rude, but I wasn't looking for new friends. I wasn't looking for anyone to be nice to me. I wanted to go there to receive. I wanted to just go there. And I wanted to go to church to cry it out, to be in that back row.
So it was almost like a therapeutic thing for you.
Was.
You were just kind of going through I
just needed
grieving almost.
It was
just
my God time.
Yeah,
it was my God time, and I didn't. When you're a new mom and you have a family and you're married and and you're a caretaker, I just, I'm not looking for more responsibility right then. And I was good with the church, what the church was for me. A different time of my life.
And we had talked about this. You grew up I mean, you grew up Catholic,
Yes.
pretty devout
Right,
Catholic, right?
right,
You
yes.
were even going into like, so your family's from New York.
Yes.
And so your mom was just very, was very stringent.
Yeah, she was a very traditional Catholic.
Yes.
We wore veils on our heads every Sunday. We went to Latin Mass. It served, that's what she learned. That was my whole entire
Yeah,
family.
I mean, there's great beauty in that.
Yeah, and the ceremonies and the beauty of it, and the tradition. That it is very important.
no, for sure.
So, yeah, I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, but then you kind of like were born as your family was moving to Orange County,
Yes.
which is quite a difference between New York
Yes.
and Orange County.
Right.
But you said your family moved because of weather, which is, I
Yeah.
mean, that's actually a pretty good reason.
Right, they
Orange
said-
County's weather's much
Right.
better.
It was my dad had also finished school. He was in the Marine Corps. Then he went to the Culinary Institute, so he was a chef.
okay.
But that's not like when chefs were cool. Like it's cool to be a chef now. So really,
I love it. It's not when chefs were
yeah,
cool.
I think he was a cook. Like I'm not gonna
It
lie.
wasn't even as
Yeah,
like
no.
nice title like chef. It was cook, huh?
Actually, on my birth certificate, it says meat cutter. Father's
Really?
occupation.
It says meat cutter.
Because that was something you learned in, and I think that was his first job. Then,
Okay.
So he got a job out here, so that would support the growing family, and my parents never wanted to be in snow again.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think they shoveled it their whole lives. Where I'm like, we never.
they were definitely pretty far from it.
Yeah,
being in
it was
Orange County.
it's not going to be a problem, right? So
And then, so you grew up going to they decided to go and put you guys in a Christian
Right.
school.
kindergarten through my first semester in college.
Wow.
Yeah, so I always went to Christian school.
Wow. And then, so you said you ended up, because I was like, okay, how did you go from Orange County to Fresno?
Yes.
Just last week, we heard Christy talking about being in
Yes.
Southern California and moving to Fresno. And we laughed because I was like, yeah, no, I'm sure you're
Yeah.
going like, after the first summer, what am I doing here?
Well,
It's so
luckily I
hot.
came for college, so I went home for the summer. So
Okay.
I actually came in a car without air conditioning.
Oh.
That happened for 1 year.
Which probably is not even a thought, because there's
wasn't a
not,
thought
there's
in
no,
Orange
there's no
County.
air conditioning really in those southern.
Yeah, we didn't,
Yeah.
I mean, there's those 2 weeks a year, and it was cheaper without air conditioning, and I didn't realize
yeah,
I was
for
coming
sure.
to Fresno State. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I ended up trading that car in really quick.
Really quick.
So, I came up for college, and I think maybe at least the first 2 years, I definitely went home for the summers.
Okay.
And then,
What were you studying at Fresno State?
the quickest and easiest way through college. Not really a big fan of studies, not really a big fan of academics. I went, actually, I really enjoyed a sociology class because
Okay.
it's just, all you're doing is learning about people.
People,
Why
yeah.
people do what they do.
Yeah.
So, and actually I did well then.
Yeah.
So when I like what I'm learning, it's,
Yeah.
I do
then
much
you
better.
thrived and you knew you were in the right lane.
I wouldn't say thrived. I said I finished. I'm like, let's not
not give it more
come
glory
on.
than it
You might want to rein that in.
you got through it.
I have a degree. How's that?
Okay, so what did you do with the degree right out of the gate?
So right out of the gate, I went to work at the university in the athletic department. I was on staff with the men's basketball team when Coach Jerry Tarkanian was there for,
That's awesome.
I think 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I remember before he even came to Fresno State, watching him, he was always the guy, he was the bald guy with the towel, right?
yeah.
So I remember when he came to Fresno State and going like, wait, oh, that guy gets to be, he's like on our,
Yeah.
that's cool. So yeah, he was there for quite some time.
Yeah,
He
we were
actually stayed
there.
in-
I didn't start the first year he was there, and I left the year before he left. So I would
Okay.
say it was 7 years.
Okay. Yeah. And you kind of like, did the logistical parts of
Yeah, I did.
travel and
Yeah, it was, I did pretty much a lot of the stuff that had nothing to do with basketball in regards to academics and making sure they got in their classes
Yeah.
and registered
Yeah.
and getting them tutoring and things like that. We chartered planes back then, so when we would go play.
Oh, yeah.
And we would sell tickets to boosters who wanted to go. So I
really?
would find things for us to do because the guys would be in practice or doing whatever.
Right.
And we'd have 30, 40 people who are like, we're in Tulsa, what should we do?
Right.
So we would find, I'd be all, oh, look there's a garden show today. Let's go. What else are we
Okay.
going to do? So,
So you
I did
kind
a
of
little
planned
organizing
some
of that. Yeah.
experiences for
Exactly.
them and maybe places to eat, I imagine.
Yeah,
Probably plenty
places
of those.
to eat. And we went and saw concerts at nights.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So you did that, and then you had said before coming here, you were going to New Cove.
Yes.
Which is a great church.
Yes.
But this one was a little bit closer to where you guys were living
I
currently.
I remember saying to my husband, can we just try that church? I get to sleep longer on Sunday mornings because New Cove took us 25 minutes to get to.
A little
and
bit
this
longer.
one's 2 minutes away
minutes.
from home. So let me just please go there.
Yeah. And of course, at the time, you back up, you had said you were a new mom and all
Right.
this stuff too. So on top of it, you're
Right.
kind of just looking like, I just want something a little bit closer. So maybe you were thinking about being involved at some point because, it's a little bit closer to home. No,
It was
still
solely
wasn't.
based on
Still
my sleep
wasn't.
time. Okay, and let's not again.
It was only,
yeah.
I just
don't
want
get
more sleep.
credit where it's not due.
So you start coming to Northpointe, you see the stage door. You said stage door was actually the very first thing you.
I think I read it in the bulletin.
Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
running those
Yeah.
through and just seeing who we could get and got some great cooks. I mean,
Right.
I'm sure one of many of them. You had mentioned some pulled pork sandwiches that you had done, and I
Yeah.
had said I had never had the chips that you had
Yeah.
brought, and
the
so
Maui
I did them.
onion. Yeah.
At that point, I hadn't had them before.
And I remembered how good they were, and I only brought 2 bags, and I thought, oh gosh, people aren't going to get as much as they want. But I'm like, it's church, what deal? You're lucky you got anything.
That's right. Big handfuls. So what changed between doing this very undercover, because really stage door
Really.
catering, really in this ministry, you could cook this food and you could bring it down here to the church while the band is still on stage,
And
come into the green
that's
room,
what I did.
nobody sees you, drop it off, walk away, and
Pick up your
come
dish the
back
next-
the next day
Yeah,
to pick up your
Monday.
dish,
No one's
and that
ever
was
here
it.
on Monday.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And so you could totally do this ministry and not be seen by anybody at all.
Right, which, I don't remember, I didn't have those thoughts, I'm avoiding anybody.
Right,
I
right.
just wanted to do something, and I was used to cooking for big groups because we have a big family, so I'm like, okay, this is perfect.
Okay.
Something I could do.
What changed okay, now I'm going to jump into a small group.
I went to a Bible study.
Ah,
So
okay.
I just was doing the Bible study. I didn't think I was going to
So
be.
it was way more of a larger, was it a
No, there
women's
were
Bible
small
study?
people.
Okay.
Small people, not small people, but there was a limited number of people. I think it was because it was a seamless that Carrie was doing, and it was just a smaller group.
Right.
In fact, there was a huge group in the worship center, and then we went into that little room, and there was 7 of us.
Did you get asked then by Carrie Stacy? You guys may have met her before. She's our lead admin. She's amazing. If you don't know
She
her,
is.
you should
She's
know her
ridiculous.
because she's amazing. But did Carrie tap your shoulder and say you should do this Bible study?
No, I'm sure I read. No, I read it in the bulletin.
Okay.
And I believe and so I have a best friend, and I was like, hey Joe, let's go do this Bible study, and it worked on the night. Whatever night it was, and
Right.
we just did it. It wasn't
Yeah.
again, I wasn't looking for a small group or
Right.
anything. I was just probably looking for a way to get closer to God.
So that was really kind of
Yeah.
maybe for the first time you had kind of this motivation or curiosity of we'll try it out. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I went to Bible study in high school, and I
Right.
did things like that. So I think I just was in a place in my life where I was like, I need to lean a little bit more, and that's a good way.
Yeah. How old were you have daughters,
I
two
do.
daughters.
Right now, 23 and 16.
How old were they when you did the seamless study? Do you have any idea?
Oh, I want to say it was probably 7 years ago.
Okay.
So,
So maybe 9 and
Yeah.
what is that? 16?
yeah, I wasn't good in college. So sociology major, no
So
math.
a little bit older. So too,
Yes.
you may have felt like a little bit more freedom to kind
And
of step
we-
away. And
yeah, I had that Tuesday open.
Yeah.
You're putting a lot of thought into this.
You're like, it really
I
wasn't
have
that thought.
the next 24 hours planned, and other than that, so it was.
Well, I'm trying to get in your head because,
Yeah.
So many people think about joining small groups or don't even think about it at all, even though it's sitting in front of them.
Right.
And so I ask a lot of questions because
Yeah.
I'm trying to find out what changed in those moments.
I just wanted to learn about God.
Yeah, that was it.
That
You
was
were
it, and it fit in my schedule.
Yeah, and there had been plenty of other Bible studies. It was just at that point you were like,
Yeah,
why
this
not?
one fits.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it. That's
It was that simple.
It was that simple. There was information in front of me. It fit, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
So you jumped into that
Mm-hmm.
Bible study, and that one turned into a second Bible study? Okay.
Then I learned that they were doing one on Friday. I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was an early morning. There was an early morning one that I think they
that's
provided.
very early for me too. So
It would be for me as well, so I get it.
it worked out perfect though, because I would go to work and I would just run over there like for an hour during a break.
Yeah.
And do that Bible study. And
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that too.
Yeah. It was at this Bible study, though, you started to have some ideas.
Well, I met Tanya.
Okay.
So when I met Tanya, I also knew Kathy from Rio because my kids went to Rio and she
Right.
was the secretary. So
Right.
I saw Kathy there. That was very comforting to
Right.
me. And
So Kathy Jessen, you're
Yes.
talking about, she's a
Yes.
NorthPointer, and she worked at a local middle school.
right.
And then Tanya Nichols, who's our guest services and
Right.
outreach director, and she was the one that you met when you
I think
started.
I sat at her table.
Okay.
And I liked that she was loud. I liked that she was, a little outgoing. She was very open. She's an oversharer, a lot like me.
You were seeing a lot of yourself.
Yeah, I was
in her.
like, wow, she's a lot like me. So I think that I felt connection. I felt the connection there with her.
Yeah.
And then I think I did do another one with her.
Okay.
I did do another one with her. And then I think I was late to the next one, so I got into Renee Estrada's.
Yes.
Loved meeting her and hear her story, and I did
Yes.
hers for a couple. But I wouldn't say that any of them I was reaching out to the people in the small group outside of
The group.
the group. And it wasn't until Carrie's group just about, I don't know, a year ago, 2 years ago, I don't know how long it's been, that we just all kind of
Yeah.
bonded, and I valued. I should also, this is, Carrie's group happened after Enough. And so
Right.
at Enough, which we'll talk about, but at Enough, the bond I have with my team there is so amazing. So I guess I was like by example. I'm like, wow, these are women from all different places and all different things. And we're coming here to fold clothes, and all of a sudden we're talking about being blended families or finances or husbands or whatever. And it became like such a bonding thing. And then we're praying together. And so I was like reaping the benefits
Wow.
of actually getting to know people. And it
Wow.
was through Enough.
Right.
And-
So where did the idea of Enough come? Tanya actually used a terminology. I'm curious if you're going to use it. But where did the idea of Enough come from?
So forever, because my one daughter is so much older, Savannah's the youngest one. We didn't buy many clothes for her because all of Dakota's friends gave me the hand-me-downs. And I'm talking like, these are some well-dressed kids. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is amazing. And so I always then handed it down to someone else. And it was such a blessing. And it was exciting. Like, Savannah's like, Mom, there's another black hefty bag outside. I'm like, let's go see what's in it, you know? So I saw, there was a couple events that happened. I love to listen to Rick Warren. Rick Warren was doing a service about if there's something you're praying about, if there's something you want, just start acting like it happened. Just start acting. Just, don't keep hoping, just start acting.
Right.
So I just started collecting clothes.
Okay.
And so we have a third garage, and we didn't have a third car at that time. And my husband's like, what's going on in here? Like, what are these bags?
Yeah.
So I just kind of sent a message out to all the moms that I knew that said, when your kids are done with their clothes, put them in bags, and I'm going to have a store one day. No clue, no nothing,
Right.
Didn't think much about it.
You literally were living like it had happened
Yes.
already because you were prompted to.
Because Rick Warren told me
Yeah.
to. Yeah. Then I came here. I was at church one day, and I don't even remember who gave the service, but they said, the service here was about we're the building, you're the church. We're the building, you're the church. So, like, my gist of it is don't call us and be like, why don't you have a library? If you want a library here, start one. If you think there should be a group that meets because everybody has black refrigerators, then make one.
Right.
Like, whatever you want.
You understood.
Right. Like, there aren't like a million pastors and assistants sitting in storage waiting for
Right.
you to call.
Right.
Because they need something to do.
Right.
And so I was like, it just, with that message and that message, I was like, okay, that's it. I am going to have a clothing store at the church, because really, I knew I wanted to give the clothes away for free.
Right.
So I didn't want to rent a place. I don't want to pay rent.
Right.
I'm like, so it was a little, not that it was selfish. I have nothing, I was like, this is
was
a
a good
perfect
fit.
situation.
Yeah.
Yes. So I actually emailed Carrie, and she sent me over to Tanya, which I knew both of them already.
Right. You were like, oh, this is great.
And I think it was like one conversation. I'm like, Tanya, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to have a clothing closet. It's all going to be free. I'm going to get the donations. I'm going to work at it, like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, okay, perfect. Yes, let's do it. And then I think we went back, and I said, you know what? Sometimes before people open restaurants, they do like a food truck to like prove the concept.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a big fan of Shark Tank and the profits. So
Yeah.
I was like, we have to like prove this concept. So she was having that back to school event.
Right.
So she's
the
like,
backpack giveaway,
yes.
back to school thing that happens like kind of almost every summer. Okay.
So she's like, let's collect clothes for that. Let's do that, and that'll be our test run. And we, I think we just put in the bulletin, and some women volunteered, and we kind of had like a meeting. And after it was all set up, and after the first day, I called Tanya, and I'm like, I'm not putting this away. We're gonna keep this forever. Like this is not like. You better find a way.
You knew.
Yeah, I'm done. I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. Like, first of all, the women I was working with, the people we served.
Wow.
And when I looked back, and we served so many people on that day, and when I looked at the store, and looked like nothing was taken.
Wow.
Not one thing was missing. There was no room on any rack when we opened, and when we closed, there was no room on the rack, and over 350 pieces of clothing had left.
Really?
Wow. And it's like that almost every week.
Right.
We're like, how did that get so busy? And we look around. When I say that, but during the season, like right now, coats are hard to come by.
Oh, I bet.
And shoes are hard to come by, like closed-toed, warm shoes.
Yes.
So things like that we can see, but again, other things like we're like, it doesn't look like anyone took jeans, and we knew everybody took jeans. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And so that started, gosh, I'm trying to remember how many years that's been now.
So in August, it was a year. It's only,
it's only been a year?
I know.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
So this year has been a unique year for Enough.
Right.
Really, then, if we're talking about August of 2019, then that would mean that
2020. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess so. I don't know. Again.
So it's pretty new.
You're doing numbers.
Right. Pretty new when we come into 2020. And now we've get
Yes.
this COVID situation. We've got a lot of people in stay home, stay at home, shelter in place, all of that. We come to another backpack, weekend, and that just looked a lot different than it did last year, because we just couldn't have people inside. So there was some things that kind of, you had thought about like kind of naming, because let me back up. Tanya said this, Enough, she had said, because everybody has more than enough, so that everybody can have enough, something like that.
I didn't mean to. I was somewhere in like a restaurant, and I saw a waitress had the word enough tattooed right here on her.
Okay.
And I never said anything to her. And I remember thinking, like, what did that mean?
Right.
What did that mean?
Right.
And I kind of started my own word study on that word. It became my word. Like in the Bible, I did like how many times is enough, and what does it mean? And I realized like it can be in a split second, like you have enough or you don't have enough. You are enough, or I'm done. I've had enough. And it just was like, it just became my word. I loved it. I knew that in this community, that we have enough clothes.
Yeah.
And there are people in this community that don't have enough clothes.
Yes.
And if we all shared, and if we all just gave a little bit,
yes,
we could all save the money we spend.
Right. And we'd all have enough.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
There's your word.
Yeah. And that was, she said it when we were talking about it one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great way to word that. Because I didn't fully ever understand. I got, like the idea of the word enough. But when you really think about it like that, it's really, really amazing. We've been going for 2 years, Tanya just says in the chat. We've been going for 2 years. So it must have been 2018.
Time flies when you're having fun
there
with
you
Tanya.
go. There you go. So this new year with COVID, well, and then we had we had to do the reflooring
Yes.
of this room.
So it really was, again, kind of so I believe that in March, we got our floors redone. So we had to take everything out of enough
Right.
and put it in the trailer. And then we got all of our floors done.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary he's like, this is the budget. And I'm like, Gary, this is what we want. And Gary's like, we found it. So we got gray hardwood, and because we want it to be cute in there.
Right.
That's important. Like,
Right.
I get it's clothes, but we have to be cute.
Yes.
So we got that, and then COVID hit. So all of our
Yeah.
clothes, everything was in a trailer, and
Right.
enough was completely bare.
Right.
And we're like, okay, well, fine. We'll just sit here until we figure it out.
Right.
And then Christy needed the trailer, and we had to go empty it, which was
Yeah.
good too, because we had stuff in there that we needed to get rid of. We had things we didn't use. So
Yeah.
it all happened for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
So you guys get it revamped, reset up. I love how you said, I didn't fully think through everything. I had the clothes, but I didn't have the hangers or the, racks to put everything
And tags.
on. Yeah.
And I mean, I really.
You dove in. You like cannonballed.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
24 hours.
But it worked out because
It
truth
totally
be told, you ended up with the hangers that you needed, and you guys found some creative ways to get the clothes
Right.
up.
And then, so we did do the creative ways, but then somebody, and I believe she goes to church here, she came in and she had 16 rolling professional clothing racks.
Awesome.
So when you go, and then I got on, of course, 559 Marketplace.
Right.
And found people that were selling them.
Yes.
One of my friends called me and goes, I found one on the side of the road up in Oakers.
Oh,
So she
my
brought
gosh.
it down. So
Wow.
we've inherited
Yeah.
and found, and
Yeah.
places go out of business. We go and buy them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And so, so then COVID in summer or so, you
Right.
guys are rethinking how to do this and start doing the idea of we put some appointments out there.
Right.
People can actually.
We wanted to be able to ensure people would get in.
Right.
And because we could have big crowds sometimes.
Right.
And we needed to set the boundaries of that there would be no kids, that there
Right.
would be, and that was sad because we loved when
Yeah.
everybody brought their children.
Yeah, the whole family
Right.
experience.
I have a
and-
volunteer, Debbie, who brought a little table and coloring books so the kids could color while their parents shopped.
Yeah.
We really got, we miss the kids. We still do
Yeah.
because we still
Yeah,
haven't been
for
able
sure.
to see them. And Sophia, she's the organizer. She's
Mm.
the one that should be in my ear right now telling us, you had this amount of clothes, you had this amount of time.
Mm.
She knows everything. So she's the one who laid out the store to make it flow for COVID. So
Okay.
people aren't running into each other. So they
Right.
go up one aisle, down one aisle. That's
Okay.
not how we had it to begin with.
Right.
We had it cute, and now it's functional.
Functional's fine.
Yeah.
Functional's fine.
So, yeah.
And enough, because I had asked you about this too, because I didn't actually know this detail. I was like, okay, is it just clothes? And is it clothes for everybody? I mean, I think we maybe draw to a conclusion, because I was like, I think it's just ladies' clothes, but I'm not completely sure.
No,
It's
no.
It's
family.
everybody.
Yeah.
You were saying newborns, even.
Yeah, we've changed. It's a trendy family thrift store.
Okay.
Trendy because it's not come there and you're gonna find a 70s outfit for a party.
Right.
It's trendy. We
Right.
try to keep it with what's
With the
going-
time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And at first it was just for that back to school event, so it was back to school clothes in those grade age groups.
Right.
Now we go from newborn, if not preemies,
Right.
all the way to 5XL for both women and men.
Wow.
So we have it all.
And then I was even asking, is there jewelry there?
There's jewelry sometimes.
Yeah,
someone
if
donates-
people give that kind of
and
stuff.
scarves and hats, and we have shoes, and we have socks and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
chonies and women's undergarments.
There you go. Yeah.
Pajamas sometimes.
Yeah.
Anything that you would
Yeah.
wear on your body will
Yeah.
keep.
Any dog clothes? I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm just-
I took a baby long sleeve and took it home and put it on my dog once. So yes, just be creative.
There you go. Be creative in it.
Right.
Yeah. So if somebody so you guys have actually, there's some limits right now to
There's
how.
always been limits.
Yeah. To how, well, it was appointments for a certain
Oh.
amount of time in September.
Right.
And of course we had the Creek Fire. So you guys were
Yes.
working really hard to make sure that you
Yes.
guys were open for people that were really in need, specifically for, what they've literally lost.
We actually, the year before, so Tanya's right, when during the Paradise
Yes. Yeah.
we were able to send up quite a few bags, and then we got word they don't need clothes.
Okay.
So they didn't need any more clothes. So yeah, we worked on the Paradise, and then yes, with the Creek Fire, and yeah.
Yeah. And now new orders have you guys kind of doing things a little bit different right now as well.
We were 8. So with the last 3 weeks or whatever it was, we wanted to maybe close. I wanted to protect my volunteers during the season. Like
Yeah.
I didn't, the thought that someone caught something and then went
Yeah, for
and then
sure.
went to Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
So my first thought was like, okay, just close.
Yeah.
And I think Tanya was like, well, let's think about it, or however she says that. And I was like, okay, so we decided to do 15-minute appointments. And it's right now, just for these 3 weeks, we're trying to just have people understand it's need-based. Like, if you need a
Right.
jacket,
Right.
if you need some boots, or if you need some closed-toed shoes,
Right.
or your son just had a growth spurt and you need some jeans.
Right.
But don't come shopping for back to school right now,
Right.
because we need to get as many 15-minute appointments in for the
Right.
people that need stuff. And it's only 2 people for 15 minutes, and when they leave, then we have another person come.
Right. And are you guys in need of anything right now? So how does somebody give to
Oh.
the Enough clothing store?
So
Or Thrift. Sorry.
Yes. Trendy Family Thrift.
There you go.
So outside of our, first of all, we're in piece 4.
4. Yes.
And our doors are like kind of like that Tiffany
Mm-hmm.
green, mint green, because we wanted it to stand out. And outside of there are 4 green clothing bins.
Mm-hmm.
So everything that goes in there comes to us.
Okay.
Disclaimer, please put it in and I always
Bag
a bag
or
that
a-
closes.
tie it, make sure.
Yes, tie it because those aren't waterproof, the bins, and if the clothes get wet, we have to throw them away. So
Right.
some people will just throw clothes in there, and during winter. Don't do it any time, but
Right.
during winter,
Especially during winter.
During
Yeah.
winter, so.
So somebody comes, they take their clothes, they bag it up, they tie it up, they throw it in there.
So
You guys are able
somebody
to go.
comes, they wash their clothes and they fold it and they label it, then they put it in a bag. I'm just kidding. That would be too, that's a dream world. So they put it in a bag, they put it in there. And then we take it out, and part of some of the volunteers, we have a sorting room, and we
Okay.
sort, and we do season. We can't hold everything for
Right.
Right now, we're just pulling winter clothes.
Right.
And then we put them out. Anything we don't use goes to Eco World, which her name is Janae. She runs this business, and her number one goal is to make sure the clothing and the shoes stay out of the landfills.
Right.
So she trickles it down, or even trickles it up to other thrift stores.
Right.
She reuses it. She has some that go overseas. So
Wow.
she has a whole system. So
So when you're giving to Enough, it could go here, right here in Enough? Or
it's
it
gonna
can-
be it's gonna come to us first. We're
right.
gonna decide if it's age appropriate, if we need it, if
Right.
it's seasonal,
Right.
and if we
But
can't.
it is going to be used in some
Absolutely.
pretty amazing ways because
Yes.
it could end up.
And I'm gonna be a famous author one day, because I'm gonna write a book on the things people donate.
I don't think I want to know.
There was an In-N-Out uniform that still had a tomato on it. Not kidding.
Really, an In-N-Out uniform?
With tomato. Like
Wow.
not a smear of tomato,
No, like an.
a slice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
very interesting.
And that's pretty much, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny. It's so funny. We'll laugh so hard. So.
How many people help you out with Enough?
So we've had a lot over the time, but the sustainable, I believe there's about 8 of us.
Okay.
So we kind of have a rule that anyone can open the store and have it, but
Right.
we make sure there's always 2 people there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and it's also some of the ladies will have time in the afternoon and go in there and sort. Like
Yeah.
just Monday, I went in there and I know I left it a mess last
Yeah.
Monday, because after you're done and you
Yeah.
close and you're
Yeah.
like, I don't feel like cleaning up.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it right now.
And so I came in early because I knew it was a mess, and it was spotless and it
Hmm.
was organized and everything was hung up. And we also have, so I tried to do this with sorry about the talking with my hands. I
You're good.
try to do this.
No, it's good. Talking with hands is fine. I do it all the time.
With each person who comes and actually sustains coming and chooses this to be a ministry they want to be in, I want to find what what their purpose is. This is my purpose. This is my purpose. I knew that I was going to do this. Really, I actually remember thinking about it in high school with prom dresses. So
Really?
I knew this is, but like Mel came and she loves putting the baby clothes together. So even if one's Carter's and one's Gymboree, she'll make sure they're the right size and she'll put outfits together. So it's not like you're just searching. There are the most adorable outfits. And Sophia is our controller kind of thing. And then Debbie's our decorator. Everything in there, everyone's like, can we buy the decorations? That's Debbie. And Tammy is our quiet principal. Like if we have a disagreement with someone who wants more than, or whatever, she's the one that will go up and just kind of take care of that. And you would never know that by just seeing Tammy. You would just think like, oh, she's not going to be someone who can toe the line. Oh, she toes the line, you know.
Yeah.
And Sophia's always there to help that too. And so I really want each one of my volunteers to find their purpose. So Brenda didn't want to deal with checking out people, but Brenda loved going through and going, yeah, this has been here too long. Oh, this is, you know.
Yeah.
We,
So it seems like they each kind of naturally gravitate towards a certain gifting.
exactly.
And which is just like a continuation of like God just providing every step
what I
along the
needed.
way.
Yep.
That's
I just
amazing.
recently, Maddie Robinson, she's home from school because she goes to San Luis Obispo.
Yes,
And she's
Maddie.
doing our social media.
That's
So
fantastic.
she comes and sometimes her and I are a little bored in there. So we'll like be all, let's find the ugliest outfit possible. And she's like, do you want me to post them? I'm all, no, don't post those. So she's helping me out and she's been really loving it too.
Yes.
And so it's.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it even grow to even more.
I do. I want to have a home goods store too.
Oh,
Not
so
kidding. I want to do
nice.
like decorations and stuff. So who knows?
Oh,
We'll-
so we had been talking about like kitchen accessories and all of
Yes.
that, and you're like, no, not yet.
yet, right?
But it's
it's going to be enough home.
enough home. I know, you heard it first.
I know. And maybe 20% off coupons in the mail. So that's another thing we should probably
Yeah.
say. Everything's free,
Yes,
Everything's free.
100% free.
100% free. But we do 10 items per person in your house once a month.
Okay.
So, and then when we have shortages, we'll just post that day. Like we'll say, one jacket per person.
Yeah.
One pair of shoes per person.
So that you can really help to make sure it gets dispersed out to the people that
Right,
really
we need
do
to,
need
right.
it. Mm.
So that you asked what we could, right now, this time a year, we could use jackets,
Jackets.
sweatshirts. It doesn't matter even the style. Like, don't be all, oh, it's an old pea coat. No one would want it. Yes, they do. Like, when you're cold, you don't care what
Yes,
you know.
exactly.
So,
Yeah.
and always socks, always shoes, not necessarily, you know, your summer shoes you're getting rid of. You know, we need closed-toed shoes right now because it's cold.
I mean, even as you're saying things, I'm in my in my closet, and I'm going, I could totally. There's like 3 jackets I could totally get rid of
Exactly.
right now, and there's shoes I've only worn once, and they're boots, and they're
I
cute.
can't tell
and-
you how many times, like, after you volunteer there, or it really, like, you're like, it's hard to shop because
Yeah.
people donate things all the time with tags still on.
Yeah.
With-
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then that's where it's enough. Like,
Yeah.
So it's been wonderful. It's been, I can't tell you, like, so I work on Monday nights. And I'll tell you, like, I'll be like, there's no way I can go today. I have too much to do. There's no way. And every time I go, I don't want to leave. And it's not just like my interaction with the customers, it's being there and having the Jesus music on and just, it's almost like our little, it's my little small group also there. We are all friends. We are all, it's just a great group of people I would never have met if had it not been for enough. And it's fun to serve.
Yeah.
It's fun to,
I am sure that front line of just seeing people get blessed with coats and things that they are in need
Absolutely.
of, I am positive that probably brings quite a bit of joy
yeah,
to
it
just
does.
your world.
There's been a lot of times where, like, we'll just hold our breath until, because the story is so hard or so deep or so anything. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I'm so glad we're here, you
Wow.
know?
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been fun.
Well, thank you. Thank you for, like, I don't know, receiving that call and just being like, you know what? I'm just going to start I'm gonna start living like it's already happening.
Yeah.
And since that thought, I mean, we've seen it now grow into where it is right now. And who knows? I'd love the, enough home.
Yep. You never
What could be coming, you know?
Right.
Yeah, as we kind of build this peace
Right.
center to be a place where people can find, basically get the needs that they have met.
Well, I also just recently, when meeting our new ministry pastor and just thinking about things to talk to him about or whatever, I really, the clothes are just the medium.
Just to get them.
It's just
to get them
the
here.
clothes are, I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. I want to,
Right.
I want him to come in, but that is
Yeah.
a way for us
Yeah.
to connect. And
Yeah.
so we give him a card about our services.
Yeah.
We have right now, Tammy went out and got cute little bookmarks that the kids can, because we can't see the kids, so we send them home.
Right.
And then candy canes and
Yeah.
and I think it was Tammy made little ornaments for every customer.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to.
You're just trying to love on people.
Yeah, exactly. But we can't
Just-
because it's COVID.
Yeah, but in all the ways the creative
Right.
ways. That's
Yes,
good. I love the
yes.
ornaments and I love the ideas of
Yeah.
sending them off and something to color, something to do.
Right.
And, you don't know, you can imagine a kid kind of coloring in the words like enough as they're absorbing that
Right.
themselves. That
And even when a lot of like, why is it named enough? And
that's a good
yes,
conversation
totally
starter.
is. And I'm not one that's hard to make a conversation with. I'll find something to talk about. So I can no doubt, and that's my gift. Like my gift is that I can talk to a kid about his whatever, or people are like at the volunteers at Enough will be like, Katie, you're just crazy that the questions you ask them. I'll just ask a question. What's
Yeah.
the matter?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get ready to wrap up, but I'm laughing because I see Tanya asking, during non-shelter in place, who can shop? Everybody?
Not Tanya. Okay, so yes, and that's the whole point. Like at first it kind of was, or it's assumed it's for people in need, but we
Right.
don't want it to be people in
Right.
need. We want it to be, I want to see people serving at church saying, I got my outfit at Enough. I want to
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
you guys, the whole point is if we use this and you don't have to buy clothes and you'll have more money to give to another area.
Right.
Like it's a way to be a good steward of our money because
Right.
this is free clothes. And then you can use your money on something else.
Yeah. Or on someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
Go, yeah. Or
Yeah. In whatever way, in whatever way.
Right.
Yeah. And I can't go to Target without spending $100. So, I mean, yeah,
Why don't you
we've
just
got
come
we've
to
got a lot coming in. So
just come to Enough and spend nothing.
there you go. There
So
you go.
yeah, we want it to be for everybody, and just as we take donations from everybody,
Yeah.
we want to give to everybody.
Yeah. I love it. Thank you so much for starting this ministry. I can't wait to see where it's going to go. And even with the hold on COVID and
Yeah.
stuff, that's okay. People are getting loved very intentionally right now. I'm
Yes.
sure these one-on-one moments with them while they're able to be inside that room, if just to just be heard and seen and loved on, and they're walking away with some free clothes that are cute and that are comfortable and that fit a need,
Yep.
are all things that just show Jesus to other people. And so thanks for doing that. We are going to wrap up. We're so grateful that you guys decided to tune in. I'm going to put some links in here to some of the social media things you talked about, and a link even to the website where you can schedule an appointment. Remember, right now we are being very careful about if you are in need. That's really who we're wanting to be
Right.
there to be able to get those jackets and warm clothes and socks and pants and all of that kind of stuff. But this Enough Clothing Store, this is going to stay here. This is not
Oh, yeah.
leaving. So, man, when it does get a chance to open and we have more freedoms, feel free to come and check out the
So
hours
for
and all of
December,
that.
we're going to be open Thursday night and next Monday, and then
Okay. And then you're closed
yeah,
for a little while,
yeah.
for like
But
the holidays.
Just check the website.
Yeah, check the website. We'll keep it up to date, for sure.
Enough.
Yep.
And it'll show you when we're open for appointments.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
I'm expecting you to come find an outfit.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
All right. Guys, go and make it a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Sunday.